Hi, I'm Kylie.
And I'm Corey.
And we are Lit Libations.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I don't know what episode this is, 24?
Yeah.
What episode 24? Yay.
I can't believe that. Episode 24. That's so exciting. And we have been, I think we've pretty much officially for this month hit 1,000 downloads.
Yeah, so that's a huge milestone for us. We can start putting in ads. So
I don't know if we should advertise our putting in ads.
Well, it's really exciting for us. It's just a huge milestone. So we appreciate you guys listening, and we love that.
Well, and the reality is this, obviously we love doing this, but it does cost a little bit of money. So it's kind of nice to be able to maybe
want to see a little bit of return.
Well, because the biggest thing is I don't really want to ask. This sounds bad, but or maybe it doesn't sound bad, but I don't want to ask our fans or people that are listening for money. I feel bad. Like I'd rather do it through like corporations.
Sponsor us.
Yeah. I'd rather do it through, not our fans that listen kind of.
There's this podcast called Small Town Murder. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
It's like two comedians and they talk about small town murder, and every time they ask to donate to the Patreon, they're like, you can donate or don't. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Yeah. It's really funny. So it doesn't feel like it puts pressure on anybody. But, obviously, you never have to donate to anybody if you don't want to.
Yeah. But we haven't said anything
we don't
have either.
We don't have that option yet. So
that's okay. That's okay. We don't need that. That's all.
But it's just a huge milestone, and it's really exciting. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Super exciting.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. I have a correction.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It's not really a correction, but in Romancing Mr. Bridgerton Part 2, she said something about like how are all actors like super smart or something, and I'm like,
yeah.
And I said, no, I think they're mostly pretty dumb, which was like a crazy thing for me to say. Like I don't believe that. And I think they are. You have to have like a crazy skill or like level of intelligence to be able to act. So I don't know why I said that. It was funny.
It is just crazy. Like I feel like. Am I stupid? Like sometimes I'm like, I definitely couldn't act because if it takes that level of intel, I can't do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
At least I know. At least I'm realistic.
Yeah. I mean, at least like emotional intelligence, because I can't even, we've talked about that before, like stop myself from crying sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
In public.
Well, maybe that's a good thing if you're acting because they want that raw emotion.
I can't bring it on a command either.
To be fair, though, like it probably would take some sort of like memory type situation.
Yeah, I can't remember anything.
No.
You have to remember lines and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely no way. They must have some sort of.
I mean, I guess they train. They train for it, which is fine. Anyways, let's get into it.
Oh, drinks and shirts.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I forgot our shirts. I bought ourselves some shirts for the first time. It's our logo on a shirt, and it turned out good.
It turned out so good. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's perfect. I'm going to wear this constantly.
I want to start selling. I want to do something about merch, but I have no idea how to get into that field yet. So it'll probably be a while yet.
Yeah. But if you guys are interested, please let us know.
Yeah,
I think our merch is pretty iconic. But if you have any also suggestions or if you design ideas, please send them in.
Yeah. And I've made some progress on the website. So once I finish that and that's published, you guys can probably send stuff through there. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
It looks amazing too, you guys. It looks so good.
It's a little busy, but it's okay.
I love it.
All right, what are we drinking?
We are drinking an Eloise inspired drink. I literally just went on Google and just Googled Eloise inspired drink. And it says it's called Eloise's Enigma potion. And she's argued, this is what the blurb says, it's on in.thebar.com, and it says she's arguably one of the most relatable and fun characters on the show, and probably in the books too.
Yeah.
With her quick wit and ever-ready repertoire and unabashed self-love that we should all appreciate and adopt. So for this recipe, you'll need basically vodka, cranberry juice, lime juice, soda water, and simple syrup.
Yummy.
It's really good.
It's good.
Okay, now we can get going.
So cheers to Eloise.
Cheers to Eloise. Probably our favorite Bridgerton sister so
she
far.
ends up happy, so.
Yeah. Despite, our protests.
This book. Anyways, where we left off, the Bridgerton brothers had just invaded Philip's home and took Eloise to Sophie and Benedict's house, my cottage. I love that they live at my cottage. Anyways, Chapter 11. In a letter to Benedict, Eloise explains she has to reject her second marriage proposal because her suitor drinks too much, and that's very unbecoming. The chapter starts out with Eloise at my cottage. Her and Sophie are doing girl talk. I didn't know how to write that, so I was like, they're doing girl talk. They're having girl talk. What are they doing?
On the spot.
They're girl talking.
Yeah, they're girl talking.
Eloise just got done telling her the story of how she ended up there and how all the men became chummy the night before, or was it earlier today?
The night before.
It was the night before. Okay. Mm-hmm. They even talk about how Lucy, the local big-breasted bar wench, and even Posey knows about Lucy. Lucy goes to the same church as Posey as her husband or something.
Yeah, absolutely. They are, and they're friends.
They're friends. I love that for Posey.
I do too.
And Lucy. Mm-hmm. And also, Posey is only mentioned after we see Sophie again, which is funny. Like, oh yeah, Posey. Yeah, she was a cool character.
Yeah.
Didn't Posey? Oh, okay. She got adopted by Violet.
Yeah.
How long was she at Violet's?
Several years, and
we should have been hearing about her more then.
I do feel like we hear about them a decent amount. I do think like the proximity of where you're living in relation to like other Bridgertons
matters.
It matters. Yeah.
And how often you come into the story.
Yeah, obviously Posey lives right next to Benedict and Sophie, so they're going to see each other a lot more. But it does seem that maybe she's not like immersed as much in the Bridgerton life and household as like,
which is fine. I mean, she's a side character, but
yeah, sure. But Violet did adopt her, and like we don't see her at like
at Violet's
big birthday party that was thrown when Colin and Penelope got together. That's in 2 books. Yeah, exactly. So it is I do kind of think that that's a little bit
it's funny.
Interesting.
Then Sir Phillip shows up and Sophie is like, ooh, he's handsome. And Eloise says, yeah, I guess whatever. Eloise blushes because Sophie says, girl, I was your lady's maid for like 15 days. I know what you like. I know your type.
It was so funny to me.
Wasn't it only like 15 days?
It really was not that long. I think she did say, she's like, yeah, I didn't actually tell her, but it was literally only 2 weeks. But it's fine.
She thinks about how Benedict and Sophie's legendary love story is the reason she's refused so many marriages. And she's feeling down and pessimistic. She knows she'll probably end up with Sir Phillip, but she doesn't love him and he doesn't love her. And at first that was okay. But now she's seeing how Benedict looks at Sophie and she's worried she made a mistake. Quote, and did she really want to wed a man who was looking primarily for a mother for his children? Well, it's a little too late now. You'll have to get married and see. And if it doesn't work, doesn't matter. You're stuck.
Yeah.
And she thinks the easiest way out of marriage is death. And I just have to imagine that domestic abuse and domestic murder rates were just sky high.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I wonder when they started to like destigmatize divorce. It's still stigmatized.
Yeah, I can't imagine it was any time until probably the late 1900s into the early
like
2000s.
1980,
like 1990. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like maybe
but England's different. So.
2010. Probably. No, I'm joking.
2010. Yeah, it's just a crazy thing to think about.
Yeah.
Eloise introduces Sophie to Sir Phillip and makes the comment how he's practically part of the family already from what she's heard. And it sounds like she means because of Eloise, but she meant because of how well the men got on last night when they were drinking. Because I was in a pool when writing these notes, I still picture Sophie and Eloise poolside with big floppy hats, sunglasses, and bikinis. I can't get out of it. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, it is. It would be so good, even though that would be scandalous, that type of attire.
Right. And like not even like a stripy one piece, like a bikini.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so funny.
Like polka dotted white with red polka dots type shit. Yeah, I see it.
That's like probably a century later kind of style. Anyways, Eloise is not kind to Philip and gives him shit for drinking so much. And when he says his head hurts like the devil, she says good under her breath. And Sophie is like, oh, I'm gonna leave. Does anybody want lemonade? I'll go get some lemonade. Philip apologizes for drinking so heavily and says that's not who he is. Like I hardly ever do that. And I believe him, but it's just really funny. She accepts the apology. I mean, he's by himself all the time. All he does is plant seeds. He's not a heavy drinker.
No, I actually agree compared to all the other men that drink pretty much constantly because they go to the club. I mean, I agree. I don't think he is.
But anyways, he tells her they, of course, have to marry in a way that feels like she's a problem that he has to solve. And it's sucky. It's not cute or romantic. And quote, she had spent her adult life making her own choices, had considered herself the luckiest of females because her family had allowed her to do so. Maybe that was why it felt so unbearable to be forced onto a path before she was ready. She doesn't say anything though, and he says he'll do his best to make her happy. ... And the children need a mother. 5 dots, Daryl?
This is literally 5 dots, but also, I'm going to say this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. She put herself in this situation.
She made her bed.
She made this bed for sure. And like, listen, I've been there, impulsive decisions with consequences that I was not prepared for. I think we all have. Mm-hmm. And probably taking out our anger on people that don't necessarily deserve it.
Yeah.
Because he's been honest.
Yeah, like you said before off camera, he has been upfront from the start about wanting a mother for his children. He has never been deceitful about that.
Yeah, the second she arrived, like literally the second she arrived, she found out about the kids, and that's what he wanted. And you know what? If she wasn't okay with that, if this was not something that she wanted, she could have packed her shit right then and there. She could have gone back to London, and absolutely no one would have known that she was gone. Probably.
Yep, I agree. They didn't know she was gone for several hours.
Yeah, at least, or she would have received a light scolding, but no one in London would have known that she was gone.
Yeah, it could have been prevented.
Yeah, for sure.
He says, "Doesn't that sound great?" And she nods, afraid if she opens her mouth, she'll scream. He then says, "It's all settled." Her grand proposal. It's all settled. Eloise gets snippy with him because he can tell she's not happy, and he says something about women having no sense under his breath. And she'd pushed him to say it. She provoked him, you see. It wasn't his fault.
That's what he's saying in his head. Yeah. I want to punch him with my fist with rings on. I hated it.
With rings on.
Yeah, literally.
Other men might not have agreed to marry her after such a scandal. Was it too much to expect a smile and a pleasant mood? After a bit more bickering, Philip changes his mind about all women being a problem. It's just Eloise that he finds insufferable. She is hurt by this, but does apologize, and he thanks her and also asks what she's sorry for. And she said, "I am sorry, quote, because I am in a horrid mood and have been behaving badly. And if you ask how I have been behaving badly, I swear I will get up and walk away and you will never see me again, because I assure you, this apology is difficult enough without my having to explain it further." She's mad.
Such a vibe, though, honestly.
Yeah. And she's like, "I've been behaving badly. Don't you see?
I know, I'm a bad girl.
Stop asking."
I'm a naughty bad girl.
In an attempt to make things better, he tells her he had decided that he was going to ask her to marry him before her brothers arrived. He was going to give her a ring and whatever else he was supposed to do during proposal. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've proposed. I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, and I just can't imagine him getting down on one knee with roses at his feet, like proposing to Marina. Like, right. What did he do for? Come on, it's been a long time since I proposed. Yeah, like you did any of those things for Marina.
You didn't do anything special for Marina.
Come on, yeah, it's probably like arranged. Yeah, for real. Did you think? I just thought about that in my head. I was like, come on.
How did he? Probably was just like, well, we should probably get married.
Someone was probably like, you guys should get married, and he was like, oh,
damn it, you're right.
And then told her, and then they had a wedding. Probably. Like, the third party told her, hey, by the way, you're getting married
to Sir Phillip.
Yeah, so. And she's like, okay.
He does say, "I'm sorry it's happening sooner than you wanted, but I'm not sorry that it's happening." And he tells her he would give her all the time that she needs, but he can't speak for her brothers. And when she asks why he decided they would suit, he can't answer, and he's sitting there choking on air. Then Colin and Anthony are there, and Eloise's mood does not improve. A footman, I will never not bring up food in Colin. A footman brings them a giant tray of food and sets it down clumsily because it's so heavy. And Anthony says, "No worries, my guy." Even Hercules could not have carried enough food to satiate Colin.
I just want to know where this came from, because I don't know. Was not a thing. It was not a theme in the first 2 books. It was not a theme until Colin's book.
She's just, well, I think, as she wrote the book, she was probably just like adding more and more
little
personalities.
Details.
Yeah.
Sure. But we've seen Colin quite a bit, and I just think it's funny that we've never heard that he is like this obsessed with food ever.
It's so funny. Like, I'll never not mention
And now every time Colin's mentioned, food is in the same sentence. Now it's like you can't hear Colin without food. Yeah, like
that's
ever.
True. It's maybe a little bit overdone.
Yeah.
Eloise announces that Philip had proposed, but she doesn't sound happy at all, obviously. And Anthony and everyone, quite frankly, is treating her like her opinions and feelings don't matter. Like this situation isn't real life and it just doesn't feel good. And I was thinking about that earlier. I guess it makes sense. Like they're just kind of following protocol and it is what it is. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Eloise says to Anthony, "Don't you have somewhere else to be?" And he's like, "Yeah, and I'm here. And that shuts her up.
Yeah, because he's like, I should be at home with my wife and my children.
Yeah, like, hello.
Oh, yeah.
Good point. Then he hands her a letter from their mother. She doesn't want to open it in front of everyone. So Sir Phillip takes things into his own hands, yanks her away. And when she asks where they're going, he's like, I don't know. I've never been here. and then he like stops abruptly and she runs into him. And it was really nice because he could feel all of Eloise's body pressed up against him. But she moved away before he could really enjoy it. Anyways, moving on. No comments. They end up in Sophie's writing room, and Philip demands that Eloise shut the door. He didn't use that voice often, but it's time that he finally takes control, and he knew exactly what he wanted. He approaches her ominously and says, shut the door, but she's confused and scared, so he shuts the door and says, I'm about to show you how we suit.
Okay, really quick. Did you think that he was going to take her away so that she could read her mother's letter, or was that just me?
I don't remember.
I remember reading this and like Anthony handed her the letter and he saw her face and was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so sweet.
So when he said I know exactly what I'm gonna do, I did get a bad, like this vibe.
Oh my God. I totally was like, oh, he's gonna have such a sweet moment. This is like, he's gonna be a good guy and like take her somewhere private, like where she can read the letter alone and have a moment. And then this happened and I was like,
not happened.
Oh, okay. So what? Okay, that like this threw me, threw me for a loop.
Me too, especially the way that he ended it.
I know.
All right, let's get into it. Chapter 11. Eloise asks Daphne in a letter how she knew she was so well suited to Simon because she has not found that yet, and this was after she rejected her third marriage proposal. Eloise barely has time to breathe before Philip kisses her and holds on to her like he's not going to let go anytime soon. Then he pulls back and just stares at her. And he just wanted to look at her because she's always moving around. I just want to look at you. You're so beautiful. I thought I could drown in your eyes. I don't know. I thought I could drown in your eyes.
But why does he keep saying that? Like it's so
he does use a lot of drowning.
Why does he keep saying
references?
it?
Yeah, he does. I don't know, Philip. It's like the only thing that he knows.
No.
And Eloise is eating this up. She's melting. She's wobbling. He touches her lips with her finger, and she feels desire, forbidden even to herself, is how it was described. She never understood desire before, but now she pulls him into a kiss and is shocked when she can feel his erection. She tries to pull back, but he holds on, groaning and rubbing himself against her, and said, I want to be inside you. I think groaning and rubbing himself against her is just like not it.
You know what? I'm appreciating the level up of dirty talk we're getting in this.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
we have not gotten. I want to be inside you yet, and I'm like, okay, I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, that part was fine.
We're leveling up on the dirty talk.
Yeah, all the sex scenes, honestly.
Yeah,
and her legs give out. He lays her down on the couch, and he's moving his hands up her legs, and she's like, "Oh, I've never felt anything like this. Yesterday doesn't matter. Tomorrow doesn't matter. Only now matters." And she's burning for him. And then he put a finger inside of her and she's like, oh, I belong to him now. This is amazing. And then with his other hand, he like cups an ass cheek and she has an orgasm. Mm-hmm. And she is so limp and spent, she couldn't have possibly even lifted her little finger. And Philip is probably on top of the world right now, but he excuses himself to the washroom. It's to Eloise, he seems really like super tense and uncomfortable. And she thinks it's strange that he would need to use the restroom after such an intense encounter. But what do I know? Like, I don't know men. Like, what do I know?
Oh my God.
And before he goes in, he says, do you believe that we suit now? And inside the bathroom, Philip rubs one out. Mm-hmm. And he thinks about how he wants to own her and to possess her, how aroused he is by her, and no other woman would do. And there was a reason why he never fucked a prostitute. He needed Eloise. He wasn't sure how he was ever going to control his erections again. Then he washes his hands and then walked back outside into the rest of the party. He just left Eloise there, not even a goodbye, not a how are you feeling. He just walks out like a different door, like doesn't even see her again, and just leaves her there.
Yeah, that's actually so insane. That's actually so. I don't even have words.
Yeah,
actually.
Wouldn't you want to stick around and be like, so like, wouldn't you like to do that again? Or like, how was that? Or, like,
yeah.
What do you think? What are you feeling?
Just like, something, anything really.
He just left.
He just literally left her there.
The room.
That's just okay. Yeah. No, what? I honestly didn't even think about that.
Oh, well, I was writing and I was like, wait, he goes back outside and like the next like line, he's like back outside. I'm like, okay, you went back outside.
That is, I would feel I just hate that. I hate it.
And she doesn't ever mention it.
Maybe I didn't notice because I was wanting to run out of that scene too.
Let's get out of here.
Anything.
Once back outside, Benedict has a gun and says they're going to shoot it at a target. And Philip is worried at first that he's going to be the target, but he's not. That was a stupid thought. Then he's like, whatever, I'm a pretty good shot. He thinks about how shooting was one of his father's manly pursuits and insinuates if he ever missed his target while he was shooting with his father, that his father would hit him. Anthony, Colin, but I feel like they're setting him up to be like an abuser. I feel like we don't know yet. I feel like we know the kids are like going through something at home, and I feel like he might be the one that's doing it.
I never thought that because I just didn't feel like we saw him enough. But I do feel like, I mean, he spanks his kids, which obviously right now, or not right now, but just like what we know now and what we've learned with research and all the educational elements of child rearing and like long-term effects and insert big word, that spankings and things like that, those sorts of, is it corporal punishments? That's not right. Physical punishments.
Yeah, I think so.
Have long-term, very negative long-term effects. So now we know that it's not like an appropriate punishment.
Yeah.
So now it would still, like, if that would still be considered beating your child.
Oh yeah.
In a sense, right?
Yeah, but it was like more socially acceptable.
Yeah, but now it's in
not.
this time frame, obviously, and honestly, people didn't know that until very recently, like within the last 10 years.
I mean, I was spanked once.
I mean, I was spanked all the time as a child.
This only happened to me once.
So listen,
God, yeah.
I'm just, obviously that's not, but they didn't know these things. That sort of research wasn't conducted, and now we know.
Yeah,
those sorts of things wouldn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But that was what was seen as something that would keep your child in line.
Yeah. That was a long-winded. Moving on.
Anyways.
Anthony, Colin, Gregory, and Sophie are out there, and Anthony says, well, let's get shooting before Eloise returns. Where is Eloise anyway? And Philip says she's reading that letter, which we know is a lie.
I think, she didn't, did she? Yeah.
Not yet,
right. Mm-hmm.
Which she might have afterwards. But he is so pleased with himself. Gregory says, either way, she'll be back soon because she's fast. And Philip says, at everything or at writing? Or maybe he meant reading. And Gregory says, at everything.
Oh, no, because someone said she's probably writing back.
Oh,
and so that's what he said.
He's like, either way, she's going to be back fast.
Yeah.
And Philip says, at everything or at writing? And Gregory says, at everything. And I thought that was a weird line because of how fast she had an orgasm.
Yeah.
Was that what he was thinking?
I don't know.
That's what I think. That's what I choose to believe.
It's probably dirty.
He's like, does she always come that fast? Or?
Innuendo. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just fell out of place, but it's fine. Anyway, they start to shoot the target competitively and get a whole round in before Eloise comes running over and demands to join. She doesn't care that he left her. It's fine. The boys are dejected and irritated. Gregory quits. Anthony stops trying. And it's because Eloise is a, quote, freak of nature when it comes to shooting. Her first shot was dead center on the target, and she says the boys don't have fun until she decides the game means nothing, which is really funny. Then Anthony tells Philip if he marries her and shoots with her so she leaves him alone, he'll double her dowry.
I love that.
They're just so obsessed with their shooting. They can't win when Eloise is there. The scene with the shooting was long, but I thought the dialogue was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 13. Eloise writes to Penelope how she's superior at shooting after beating 6 men, including 3 of her brothers, at a shooting competition, and they all had such a temper about it.
Such a little
so
baby.
Silly. Yeah. Get over it. Eloise is
shoot better. Just shoot better.
Have you tried shooting better?
Have you tried getting better at shooting? God.
I bet they didn't even think about that.
No, they didn't. Probably not. Freak of nature. Maybe she's just good. Maybe you should just try harder.
Maybe you're just really bad.
Honestly.
Maybe she's average.
Yeah. Maybe you're the one that sucks.
God. The next day, Eloise goes back to Romney Hall with Anthony, Benedict, and Sophie. Colin and Gregory dip. It says Colin went back to his new wife, obviously, and Gregory went back to whatever it was that young, unmarried men of the ton did to fill their daily lives. Who knows what they do? I don't know. Eloise doesn't know. I think that's so funny. She's optimistic because the day before went well. Philip held his own against her brothers, and there's no way she could marry someone that couldn't square off with each and every one of her brothers. But she still has reservations about the marriage. How could she not? Mostly because they're not in love. She thinks about how he makes her feel when he kisses her and thinks passion was not enough to sustain a marriage, but it couldn't hurt. Philip is in the drawing room with Amanda and Oliver waiting for Eloise and company to arrive. He thanks God for Eloise because she'll know if a child's dress is too short or what age to put her hair up or what school Oliver should go to. He takes comfort in thinking that all of his shortcomings as a father will be solved by marrying Eloise, and that counts as doing something good for them. It's so crazy.
God. Dude, a therapist would make so much money in this day and age.
Oh my gosh.
A killing.
Ooh. We should write a book. Okay, here's the pitch. A therapist goes back in time to make a bunch of money.
When I tell you that I would literally get my fucking degree in therapy just to go back in time and be a therapist, I would. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. It'd be interesting as hell.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my gosh. He wants to move the wedding up from several weeks to 2 days. He's so desperate to have the responsibility of his children shifted onto Eloise's shoulders. He'll turn the kids over
and to fuck her.
Yeah. He'll turn the kids over to Eloise during the day, and she'll turn herself over to him at night. And he's like, ooh, buddy, things are about to get good.
My dream life, baby.
The kids are getting restless and start acting like kids, which pisses Philip off. They start to push each other consensually, but they're getting loud and knocking things over, and he goes to intervene, and they all end up on the ground, which is when everyone walks in, of course. Philip introduces his kids and then asks them to return to their room for no other reason other than he doesn't want them there while the Bridgertons are there.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me because it's not like Anthony and Benedict. Is Gregory there? No, I think it's just Anthony and Benedict. Both don't have children at this point. So, like, it's not like they don't have any idea what, like, a child acts like.
Like, they literally haven't done anything that bad yet.
It literally makes no sense to me, like, why the children can't be around.
Because he's ashamed of them.
Yeah.
They plead to stay, and he lies and tells them they need to go to their room because he needs the Bridgertons' approval to marry Eloise, which he already got, so that's a lie. Amanda asks him if he's ashamed of her and Oliver. And then before he can say anything, Eloise interrupts. She quietly and without much protest convinces the kids to leave. And Philip thanks God again he's marrying her out loud this time.
But why didn't Eloise say they can stay? They're more than welcome to stay. Like, why couldn't...
Maybe it's just something that she wanted to deal with later. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's just like the custom is that they were all supposed to hang out without the children, because I just can't understand. Like, if I was Anthony or Benedict, I'd be like, keep the kid around.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
It's truly. Yeah, I guess it was just a way for Amanda to ask, are you ashamed?
Yeah, I agree.
He apologizes to the family using their mother's death as an excuse for difficult behavior. To which Anthony says, there is nothing more difficult than the death of a parent. But Philip thinks about how they look sad today, and they hadn't been that sad since Marina died. But that was like kind of shitty because like he's like, oh, their mother died and they haven't been right since. And Anthony's like, I understand. Like, very genuinely and with a lot of compassion. And Philip, I don't think had like that's not the whole reason that they're acting so bad.
Well,
not the whole reason.
Yeah, it's definitely neglect of both parents. It wasn't just her death. It was like the neglect of both parents.
Yeah. After lunch and their house tour, Eloise and Philip break off to walk around, and Anthony is third wheeling it, but from afar. Eloise tells Philip she just acted like her mother when talking to the kids, and it worked. Philip reveals that he didn't have parents that he could emulate. His mother died at birth, insinuating his father was the problem. And she's like, I see. And he's like, doubt it. And she's like, okay. After a few minutes silence, she asks why he took her to Sophie's study yesterday. And he said, oh, I thought that was obvious. He intended to kiss her. He wanted to prove to her that they were well suited because she was yapping on so much about marriage. She says passion does not equal a successful marriage. And when he tries to change the subject and she won't let him, he snorts and rolls his eyes. Like, what is this fight?
What is this fight?
She was worried they're not in love, and that's what she's always wanted. And he just keeps giving her shit for voicing so many thoughts and feelings. She all but asked if he loved her, and he stayed silent, which is answer enough.
But they've also only known each other for like
it's been
a week and a half. Well, they've obviously been corresponding for a year, but they've been in person for a year and a half, or a week and a half.
It's been like 3 days, hasn't it? It's only been 3 days.
Okay, maybe it's been less than a week.
Yeah.
It's been less than a week.
Less than 7 days.
And she's like, why don't you love me?
Yeah.
And he's like, woman.
Calm down.
Honestly, I'd kind of be like, I would kind of be like, what the fuck? If, in the same, like, we've known each other for half a second.
But he doesn't say that. He just like tries to change the subject and skirt around it. He could just be like, Eloise, I understand where you're coming from, but like, look, it's been 3 days. I think it's going to be fine. Let's give it some time.
No, I agree. No, the communication style is bad. But her expectations are too fucking high. So honestly, they're both acting fucking psychotic. Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah. She asked if he loved Marina, and he said no. She asked, why did you marry her? And he said, I don't know. Seemed like the right thing to do at the time. And Eloise thinks like, oh yeah, of course. He's always doing the honorable thing, shouldering other people's burdens, honoring his brother's promises. She asks if he felt passion for Marina, and he said no. Then he asked her why she ran away from London. What were you running from? A lover? Of course, it's always got to be a lover.
It's always got to be a lover.
Yeah. She said no. She says no so loudly that Anthony looked over and she smiled and waved and she's like, just a bee, Anthony, don't worry.
What a fucking idiot.
And he's like...
So it's like almost running towards her.
He starts to run over and she's like, it's gone now. Don't worry, Anthony. It's fine. I forgot. And he's like terrified of bees. It's fine. That was really funny. That was honestly my favorite part in the entire series.
Yeah, I agree.
So funny.
I actually agree.
But then she tells Philip everything about why she left London, about her and Penelope's plans to grow old and be spinsters together, etc., etc. And he just said, it's okay. And she realized that it's okay.
They're a mess.
Yeah.
It's such a contrast to Colin and Penelope, who communicated almost every single thing ever in the world ever.
Yeah.
And then we get this where
Philip is just doing his best to avoid communicating.
I mean, they couldn't communicate the fucking dinner plans if they tried. I mean, they couldn't communicate what the weather was. I mean, they couldn't communicate shit.
No, he's like, why do you need to know? Bye.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a weather person. Damn, Jackie, I don't control the weather. That's him.
Oh my God, that was the best scene in that whole show.
So funny. The letter that Eloise is writing is one to Hyacinth, asking her not to say the man that was courting her looks like a toad.
Wait, what?
Okay, so it's obviously, this is the letter she was writing at the beginning, right? She's saying,
Francesca?
Hyacinth.
Oh, Hyacinth.
To Hyacinth. Don't say the man I'm courting looks like a toad.
Like, that's so rude, Hyacinth.
But also, she then rejected that man's, I think it's her 4th proposal.
Okay, that's funny.
Or 5th. I don't know which one we're at this point. 4 days later, on a Monday, Philip and Eloise were married, which was not a appropriate day to be married, by the way.
It's supposed to be Saturday.
It's supposed to be Saturdays. But they got the marriage license and everything's good and well.
Anthony moved it up for him.
Anthony pulled his Viscount strings, which is so funny because I thought a Viscount was ranked so high. And I feel like after reading, what's 4 books, 5 books or whatever that we're at now, a Viscount does not rank that high.
Oh.
They I think everything ranks, not everything, but like a lot of things rank higher than a Viscount. They make it sound like it's not that high.
Who does?
Everyone and all the books.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. They're like, an Earl.
Oh, it's
is
just
high.
a Viscount. Oh,
they're like, a Viscount is obviously a title, but like, it's not.
It's not a rank.
It's not like a big deal.
Oh, okay, interesting. They're just prolific as fuck. The Bridgertons.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, literally.
Okay.
The entire family was there, save for Francesca, who was still in Scotland and did not have time to come to Gloucestershire.
Good job.
Thank you. They are married in a nearby church close to Romney Hall, and the reception was in the garden of Romney Hall. And they didn't give a lot of detail on this, obviously, because this was in the second epilogue of Colin and Penelope.
Oh, yeah, we already got a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Eloise was in her bedchamber preparing for her wedding night, brushing out her hair, sitting at her vanity. And her mother was there as well, trying to make herself look busy, very clearly having something on her mind, whatever. And Violet and Eloise have a moment where Violet tells Eloise that she's so happy that she got married. She always knew that she would because Eloise had a tendency to surprise them all. And then it's time for them to have the chat.
The talk.
The premarital relations
I like this part.
Chat, which Violet was absolutely dreading. But Eloise saved her the embarrassment because many years ago, Francesca and Eloise pooled their money together to pay a housemaid in their home to tell them about marital intimate relations.
I love that so much.
So it actually was nice because Violet was actually saved by not having to have the chat with Francesca or Eloise.
Yeah.
The only person that she had to have the chat with at this point was Daphne.
And she really fucked that up,
and
to be honest.
And she fucked
That's
that.
like Violet's only shortcoming, but she does acknowledge it in this moment.
She does. She's like, oh yeah, I really fucked up Daphne because I didn't tell her anything.
I really fucked Daphne up.
I really, really messed with Daphne's mind. It was not my finest moment. It's like, yes, darling, you did. You truly did. Violet then asks Eloise if she'll be happy. And Eloise is like, well, it's a little too late for that. But yes, I do think that I'll be happy. And Violet tells Eloise that she has a tendency to be impatient, which is something that she loves about her. However, she should learn to maybe practice a little bit of patience. Quote, give it time, Eloise. Be patient. Don't push too hard.
She takes that to heart.
She does, truly. Word for word. Eloise and Violet said their final goodbyes, and it was then that Eloise realized that she was saying goodbye to her family for like an extended period of time. And she wouldn't be close to them as she was before anymore.
She's like, holy shit, like I'm not going to be living in London.
Yeah, I'm not going to get to have my afternoon mom and daughter chats.
Yeah, I don't think this is hitting her until just now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's fair. And honestly, that kind of made me like sad. I was like, oh, that is a tough realization.
Yeah, it is.
But Violet reassures her that she'd be out there quite a bit because she had 2 more grandchildren to spoil.
Oh.
Meaning Oliver
She's
and
more perfect.
Amanda. Yeah.
She'd make up for the whole Daphne situation.
Yeah, she really is amazing.
I love her.
Eloise admired that Violet always knew what to say to each of her children, which was remarkable because she had 8 and they all had different personalities and interests and needs.
Who said that?
Eloise said that in her mind.
Nice.
After her mother left, she hears a knock on the door. It's Philip.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. She realized then, after looking at him, that she really liked him. And she was ready for their wedding night.
Good. Let's do it.
And let's kick it off. He was very relieved because he didn't know how much longer he was going to be able to wait to fuck her.
The self-control bar is draining.
In hell. In the pits, in the fiery pits. So basically, this is their very long first time having sex.
Yeah, the first time was just a finger.
It was really, really, really long, but I kind of loved it. It was literally like 11 or 12 pages.
Oh my
gosh. Very long. There's one point where he's admiring how long her hair is. And he's like, if anyone else would have seen with your hair down, surely you would have already been wed because no one would have been able to resist this.
Like, goddamn, girl.
And she's like, what? It's just hair.
Like, what do you mean?
He's like, what? Okay.
What?
Okay. They do their typical kissing on the mouth to kissing the nipples to the rest of the body. And they move to the bed. And when he takes his shirt off, she notices that he has scars on his back. And he tells her that he was whipped by his father when he was younger. And she was so angry. This was actually very endearing for him. He's like, oh my God, she's so angry for me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Like a tuck hair behind ear moment type thing, you know?
You think that's sad?
Like, I love that. Yeah. I was whipped. That went too far.
That was funny.
They move to the bed, and when he takes off his pants, she starts to get nervous because apparently he's hung like a horse. So he decides that he's going to do something that he's never done before, ever in his life. He thought about doing it with Marina. I don't know. He thought about doing it with Marina. He thought about doing it with prostitutes.
Lucy, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably thought about doing it with Lucy. But he's just never really like had a moment. He just didn't feel like it was right. But then he decides he's going to eat her out. And he does.
Yay, finally.
Finally, we get a little bit of woman foreplay for sure.
Clitoris action.
Yeah, minus the finger kind of thing, you know? Yeah. Obviously, she loves that. And when he can't take it anymore, not any reason of her, but when he can't take it anymore, when
she was literally so close. He's like, I should have let her just like come, yeah. But like I couldn't.
He's like, yeah, I
had to move on.
I had to be inside her. I had to.
So stupid.
He literally just slips inside of her, and he says at one point, he's like, I wanted to be gentle, but I wasn't gentle at all because she was so wet. I just slid right in and plunged forward to the hilt.
Jesus. All right.
And then he just jackhammered until he came. And like, So that was her losing her virginity. And honestly, this was a vibe because she got eaten out. And I don't know. It still would have hurt though. Maybe her getting fingered, like, opened her up a little bit. The day before,
yeah, maybe. And, I mean, she was very aroused, so that relaxes...
the muscles, yeah. So maybe, like, he's the only one that did the whole virginity thing correctly.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I didn't feel awkward or uncomfortable once during this.
Yeah, and it was not bad. I didn't hate him.
This one was even less awkward and uncomfortable than Colin and Penelope's, and I didn't hate Colin and Penelope.
Right? Yeah, no, it was fine. It didn't feel like Eloise was a virgin.
It was. Well, it did in one moment because I think when he like whipped out his super large dong, she was like, "Oh my god!" I have to admit, like I'm kind of terrified because I keep seeing you, or I saw you, and I was like, I don't know how this is like mechanically going to work. Which you've heard this before,
right?
But instead of just, being like, oh, I'm going to pretend to go slow and then plunge to the hilt once I get to like the fucking Kool-Aid man, once I get to the hymen, I'm going to eat you out and like loosen you up a little bit first. Yeah. And so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Vibe.
It was fine. I didn't hate it.
And this is interesting too, because he mentions, I don't know if it was at this point or later, but he mentions that like he probably had been the least experienced male that we've seen out of all the men so far, because
that's true.
He had had a couple lovers prior to Marina when he was in school and stuff like that. Obviously he wasn't a virgin before Marina, but then he had sex with Marina, and like all of those encounters were pretty vanilla, like how he described it.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, eating her out for the first time.
They're gonna try this.
I'm surprised he wasn't not in the right spot. Like he was in the South Pole when he was supposed to be in the North Pole.
That's true.
Situation.
Yeah.
Like how did he know?
How do you know?
I don't know, because he's imaginary. Okay, chapter 15.
He's fake. He's fiction.
Because he's not real. Okay, chapter 15. Eloise writes a letter to Francesca saying that she's mad at Francesca because she won't basically tell her any details. The only thing that Francesca will tell her is that the nurse that like talked to them about the intimacies of marriage was correct.
Correct. After Francesca got married and had sex.
Yeah, this was after she married John,
right? The
Earl of Kilmartin. Eloise was sitting in her office trying to work hard on her ledgers for she
has a lot of responsibilities now.
She basically does. He dropped everything in her lap. She does
insane.
Everything. She does literally everything.
You literally don't train for that, right?
No.
You just get married and all of a sudden you're in charge of like estate finances.
Yeah. Literally.
I hate that.
My mind is absolutely
yeah.
I'm just
crunching numbers and shit.
I'm mind bottled.
Yeah.
It's like when my mind gets trapped in a bottle. But anyways, but she does get distracted working the ledgers, thinking about all the times her and Philip had gotten intimate. It had been a week since their wedding and they'd already fucked 14 or 15 times, if you can count the time that they 69'd.
Oh, is that
I don't know. She said that they use their mouths.
Yeah, I think she said something about how he kissed her down there, and then she kissed him down there. That's how they said it. It's so juvenile, and I hate it.
Yeah, kissing, because that's okay. But it's fine. Yeah. We're moving on.
Yep.
She was blushing, thankful that no one can see her because she was by herself in the office.
Getting all hot and heavy by herself.
She was like, "Where is my man?" She was a little bummed though, because although their nights were filled with much fun, they never saw each other during the day. In fact, Philip filled his day in the greenhouse and rarely even took lunch in their home. He would lock himself in the greenhouse and like not talk to her until the evening.
If I worked at home, I'd be coming inside for lunch.
Yeah, and also a day fuck. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. They have a huge argument about that later.
What are we doing? Yeah, seriously. Every time she tried to engage in any normal conversations, Philip couldn't stop himself from scooping her up and taking her into the bedroom where they did not talk. She wanted to talk to him about that, but she stopped herself, thinking back to what her mother said about being patient. She looked down at her ledger, realizing that there was no way she was going to finish these because she couldn't focus worth a shit.
Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think she does, but she just can't focus. But that's also crazy.
It is crazy.
That's like
it's hilarious.
That's like on the same level as Farrah doing the ledgers and fucking
Reese's. What do you even call his fortune?
And Valaris. His billionaire
generational wealth.
His generational wealth doing the ledgers there, and like
she's like, we have a lot of money.
She just learned how to read 5 minutes ago.
That's so funny.
Oh, at least Eloise is like slightly more qualified.
Yeah.
Anyways. She decided that she was going to spend time with Oliver and Amanda. They would be a great distraction from all the thoughts of Philip because there was so much that needed to be done for them. You know, they both needed new clothes because neither of them could fit their current clothes, which was absolutely insane that no one had bought them new clothes. It's fine. We're moving on.
Yep.
When she headed upstairs and walked through the door, she saw the two children were puffy-eyed and runny-nosed.
No.
She asked what had happened, and Nurse Edwards said that they were punished for disrespectful speech.
Sounds familiar.
Nurse Edwards had told them that she had rapped them on the knuckles. I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah, just like with the stick, I think. Like literally just like hit them on the knuckles because it's very painful.
Okay, that makes sense. Eloise struggled inside herself because although this is a very common practice of punishment, in the UK at this point and across like schools in that area, something in the sea did not look right. And she was having a motherly gut feeling.
Something in what didn't look right?
Something in the scene.
In the
like
scene.
What
No,
she was like kind of looking at.
Things aren't adding up. Got it.
She told herself that she needed to speak to Philip about it immediately. She dismissed the nurse so that she could help the children with their penmanship and spend time with them and give them a little bit of reprieve from Nurse Edwards. Once Nurse Edwards was gone, the children came running into her arms, thanking her profusely for dismissing the nurse for the morning and being like, we don't like her, like, please help us.
Oh, no.
But not saying, like, really what was going on.
Right.
Just kind of lack of communication, you know?
Well, they're 8.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well, it's their fault.
I don't actually disagree because, you know, Yeah, I do get it. If they just would have said what was really going on, though, I do feel like someone would have at least looked into it.
Who knows?
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. Philip was sitting in the greenhouse humming to himself because for the first time in a long time, he was truly happy.
He's on top of the world.
He was the happiest he's ever been. Not only because he found his wife, the most attractive woman he had ever been with or seen, he was ravaging her body every single night, this woman. He was like, I love my wife. But he was also happy because he had found a perfect mother for his children. And there was a weight lifted off of him because he didn't feel like such a bad father anymore.
It just doesn't make
He's
sense.
like, you know, I think I've officially reached good father status.
I got them a good mother, so
honestly, good for me.
I don't have to do anything anymore.
I'm a really good guy.
Good for me.
What can I put on my resume? Great father.
Eloise would sign off on that.
Yeah. He was thinking about how great his life was when Eloise stepped in to speak with him. All he could think was he was happy and that she had decided to visit him and how quickly he could get them from the greenhouse into their bedroom. He was ready to fuck her.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, Eloise wanted to speak to him about Nurse Edwards. She told him that the children were punished for, quote, disrespectful speech and was rapped on the knuckles. She acknowledged that this was a normal form of punishment all across England, but she told him that her gut feeling was that there was something wrong. And he told her to go ahead and investigate. And she asked if there was something that he was planning to do about it. Like, don't you want to look into it? Don't you want to do something?
Doesn't that sound interesting to look into?
Are you at all concerned? Or do you, it's like, and he told her that since she's the one with like the concerns and the suspicions or doubts, then she should be the one to look into it. Finders keepers, lady.
Oh my God.
You smelt it, you dealt it. You got to figure it out.
It's not my problem.
Not yet.
Currently.
I'm not messing with it. I don't care. That's why I married you, bitch. No, that's what he says though. He told her that was the reason that he married her. That's literally my next line.
Oh my God.
All the while, he was trying to seduce her, like kissing her neck and like talking to her kind of seductively, but like, imagine like, kiss and be like, honey, you look into it. It's your concern. That's why I married you, sweetie. Anyways,
do
you want this
you don't
finger in
understand?
your
Like
ass?
something really bad might be happening.
She's like,
do you want this
Philip,
finger?
do you want? I've been thinking about this new thing in France that they do with the finger in your ass.
She's like, the children are being abused behind closed doors.
He's like, how many times can I seduce you through your nipples?
Jesus. Truly, though. That's how it felt.
Can I get both in my mouth at the same time, do you think? That's what he's thinking in his head. And she's like, your kids are being abused.
Truly. Oh my God, it's wackadoodle.
That's actually... Sorry.
This is the craziest scene in the whole book, I think.
It is. This annoys her because she wanted to have a very serious conversation with him and all he wants to do is fuck her. She tells him that this is not the time to be intimate. She wants to talk to him and they have a problem and they need to solve it. And this sets him off. It sets him off.
I don't get it.
He had been thinking about how their marriage is absolutely perfect for the last week. And for her to think that it was anything less was absolutely infuriating to him. She tells him that all she wants to do is have a conversation. And he tells her that all she ever wants to do is talk.
Oh my God.
She tells him that if you don't like it, then you shouldn't have married me.
Get him.
He tells her that he didn't much have a choice in the matter. Her brothers were ready to castrate him. And then he tells her that she's insufferable. This is like the worst conversation I've ever heard in my life. He's taking everything that she's saying as a personal slight to him. And like literally all she's trying to do is like what any good therapist would encourage in like a couples therapy session.
She's just trying to, I mean, it's about his children too, which he should be concerned about.
Yeah. She's trying to engage him in a very serious conversation about a very real problem. And instead of engaging with her, he blows up at her and then he walks away.
Is that the end of it? Mm-hmm. I have a quote. He said, every now and then you might consider shutting your mouth and using it for some other purpose. That would be the end for me. I'd be like, I can't believe that. That's my only quote that I had like out of this whole book that were in your chapters.
Oh my God. Honestly, I'm starting to like understand why Marina did what she did.
Blame her.
This is kind of where I'm kind of getting it because like.
Doesn't he also mention Marina in that fight too? Maybe not.
Well, yeah, because he's like because I think he's more thinking it to himself. Like my relationship with Marina was like way worse. How could she think this is anything?
Yeah, like this is nothing. Like we're so fine.
Yeah, and this is actually so concerning because he would sweep any problem that he deemed as unworthy under the rug, where kind of neglecting any of her feelings, and that's such a bad thing.
He compares everything to Marina. Like her melancholy was such a huge problem. If Eloise has a problem that doesn't match that, it's not a problem.
It's not important. And it's not on his list of things that he cares about. He'd rather just fuck it away. And that is insufferable.
Yes.
Oh my God, I feel so bad. I'm like, this is terrible. Chapter 16. Eloise writes to Kate and says that she can't imagine ever losing an argument to a man because they're easy to manage, especially her last suitor who rarely talks.
Everything's the opposite of what's happening.
Literally. Eloise was absolutely gobsmacked after her argument with Sir Phillip. She could not understand how it went from 0 to 100 so quickly.
Me either, and I never will.
Honestly, I never will understand. It was just that morning that they were enjoying each other's bodies. And all she wanted to do was have a conversation with him. Just a simple conversation about his own children's well-being. Like, I can't handle it. She felt so alone in that moment. She felt like she needed her family, her mother. So she decided to go to Benedict's house since it was only an hour away. Aww. Philip walked around the garden for hours thinking about what had just happened. He was for hours.
Oh my gosh.
He was really upset. Okay? He thought his marriage was perfect.
This is it.
And it just sent him like off when Eloise said anything different. He wanted Eloise to be his maid and take care of his children and do all the little annoying tasks that he didn't want to do. And it only complicated things that he actually cared for her.
That is the crux of all my problems with this book.
Okay, I think that was me paraphrasing. That wasn't exactly what he said, but I mean, it is. He did. He wanted Eloise to be literally everything, take care of everything. So all he needed to do all day was just be in his greenhouse.
Like she was his apprentice. Just doing all the grunt work.
Yeah, honestly, hire a fucking secretary then.
Yeah, I don't know why he has trouble hiring people because...
Rehire Miles Carter. Like, what are we doing?
Why did he dump Miles Carter?
Why did he dump him? Honestly.
Justice for Miles Carter.
Justice for him, honestly. He knew he was going to have to mend things and talk about his feelings, and he really didn't want to. But for Eloise, I guess he was willing to.
What a guy.
What a guy. The bar is in hell. He went back to the house after looking for her, and the butler let him know that she was at Benedict's house. It was kind of a funny conversation because the butler was like, the butlers always make the people that they're talking to's life like absolutely a living
they just
nightmare.
Skirt around like the points. Like,
yeah.
You can just be very upfront and they're just don't.
Literally, he's like, where's Eloise? And she's like, and he's like, oh yeah, I think she's gone. Where did she go? One of her brother's house. Which brother? I'm assuming the one that lives close. Benedict? Yeah. Is she gone for like a while? I don't know. Okay.
It's hilarious.
But she didn't take a bag. Oh, okay. Like, it's just so infuriating.
He knew all the answers.
So infuriating. Like, give me the fucking summary. Why are we doing this?
I love it so much.
It's actually really funny.
It's just funny.
He decided he would go see his children. It had been a while since he'd spent time with them.
He's like, well, Eloise is gone. I guess I'll check in on the kids.
Yeah. And he was headed up the stairs and he heard a whimper. Oh, no. So he decided to sneak in, like all sneaky, and to see what was going on. And the door was cracked, and he kind of like was like looking through it, trying to figure out, you know, what was happening, what he was seeing. And he realized that Nurse Edwards was literally beating the shit out of Oliver with a book. It was Amanda, and Oliver had just been beaten on the floor.
He was like on the ground.
Yeah. And he just lost it. He absolutely lost it. He bursted in and told Nurse Edwards to get the fuck out. And she was kind of like fighting back. She was like, what? Like, what do you mean I have to leave?
I've been doing this
for
how long?
Yeah. It's like, you're literally beating my children with a book. And she's like, I was told I could use any meat. And like, he's like, no, get the fuck out. But she did not leave before she decided to tell him that his children were little brats and he was ruining them.
She reminds me of the principal from Matilda.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Cruxtable. No. Crunchbull. We got there. We got there.
Yeah, Mrs. Trunchbull.
Yeah, Miss Trunchbull. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Anyways, somehow managing to keep his temper in check, he got her out and comforted his children. Something in that moment changed between him, Oliver, and Amanda. And they talked about Eloise and how much they all really like her. And he tells them, and that's good, because he thinks that she's going to be around for a while.
That's so stupid.
It was honestly the stupidest thing I ever read in my entire life. I was so infuriated. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm honestly pissed off. I felt I was happy for the children, but I felt no sense of relief other than the children.
No, they had something changed within him. And then
he's like, he realized,
thank God for Eloise. Let's all bask in it.
Something changed within him, and he realized, oh, I maybe should actually spend more time with my children. It wasn't the fact that he didn't know that his children couldn't swim. It wasn't the fact that he didn't realize that his children literally weren't fucking
over and over.
Yeah, were in like tall beds and didn't roll off the bed anymore. None of those things made him want to spend time with his children. The fact that he didn't know what their favorite color, no. It was the fact that he didn't know that, you know, obviously the nurse was beating them, which is at least, you know, but also. How many times can a sign be smacking you directly in the face for you to be like, oh my God, something needs to change within me? No, because he had Eloise as his wife, so
that's Eloise's responsibility now.
How does anyone root for this man? Honest to God.
I would like to know if you do root for this man. Because what the fuck?
And how long have you been in therapy?
Yeah, and how old are you? So I'm interested in that. Weeks after Daphne ran away from Simon, Eloise says she should not have done that. That was stupid.
Wait, what'd you say? Daphne and Simon.
Weeks after, so is in a letter.
Oh.
Weeks after Daphne ran away from Simon, Eloise wrote to her and said she should not have done that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because she ran away from Philip. That's the connection.
I thought it was just running away from fucking London. That's funny. It's a twofer.
Oh, yeah.
Eloise arrives at my cottage where Sophie and Benedict's butler, Graves, tells her, Master Charles, Sophie and Benedict's 5-year-old son is sick. Benedict comes down and tells her that Charles has a fever and no one knows what to do. She sends Benedict to bed because him and Sophie have spent 2 days taking care of Charles, and so she takes over. And poor little Charles is in the throes of a fever. She takes care of him for several hours before remembering to send a note to Philip. He'll understand. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sir Phillip had decided Eloise was either dead on the road or had abandoned his marriage, so he drives to my cottage. And when he gets there, he's super rude to Graves, who is so gracious to him in return.
But also is beating around the fucking bush, not telling really one single truth. These butlers I love the butlers, but they're fucking pissing me off.
I think that's hilarious because it's so consistent throughout the entire series.
But they're just like asking to get talked to like fucking assholes because they can't ever get to the point.
Even when Daphne had moved rooms and Simon's like, "Where's my wife?" And she's like, "Oh, she's not in this room anymore." Okay, so where is she? In the other room.
In one of the other vacant rooms. Obviously, there's a lot of rooms.
I think that's so funny.
It's so irritating.
He tells him to get comfortable. He might be here a while. And Philip is worried something happened to Eloise. The doctor had pronounced that Charles was in God's hands now. And although Eloise wasn't a woman of God, she prayed. Philip comes and they greet him and tell him how sick Charles is. And Sophie collapses and sobs. And Benedict is crying too. And they seem to be at the end of their rope when Philip suggests willow bark tea, which he had learned in school might help a fever. Benedict and Philip go off to find it. 12 hours later, Charles is cured and Eloise and Philip go home.
I was actually crying when Sophie broke down and Benedict broke down.
I was really crying. It was a sad scene. Yeah. I was worried for little Charles. I thought he was going to die.
I did too.
I was so worried.
I did too. I said, you cannot do this to Sophie of all people. Oh my God. Sophie who had endured slavery and abuse her entire life just to have her. No.
Oh my God. Luckily the willow tea bark worked.
Yeah, seriously.
Eloise realized that she's feeling what her marriage had been missing, comfort and easy companionship. She tells Sir Phillip he's a good father. He says, "I'm not because I let Nurse Edwards beat the kids with a book." Eloise is racked with guilt and sorrow. Then Philip promises he wants to be a better father. "I promise I want to be better." That he doesn't want to be like his father. And he thinks about how he wanted to whip his kids once. But Eloise is like, "Well, you didn't, so it's totally fine." And she asks Philip who exactly he's angry at. He didn't say anything. He's like, "The twins glued their governess's hair to their sheets." And she's like, "I don't care. I've already heard this story." He says he won't lose his temper with his children if he was able to keep it in check when he came to Nurse Edwards. So that was the test. He didn't go off on Nurse Edwards.
He didn't beat the shit out of her even though he wanted to.
So it's going to be fine. Oh my gosh, I do have a leash on my temper.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're right.
I can just refrain from hitting people.
And everything was healed and he was fine after that.
Truly. Forever. He confesses that he thought that she had left him and she said she would never do that because of the children. And he should have known. He realizes he needs to keep her happy. Not so his life will run more smoothly, but because he would be sad if she was sad. And he's jealous that she said she would only stay for the kids and not for him. And he's upset because he probably loves her. He doesn't know this yet, though. And they get out of the carriage and Eloise wants to take a nap, but Philip has to go hug his children first. So what the fuck?
Oh my God.
That was the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have nothing.
Nothing to contribute. Moving on.
I hate him. Genuinely hate him.
I hate this man.
This man sucks so bad.
Edmund's gonna have words.
We already did it.
Yeah. Well, he did he?
Marina was talking more shit than Edmund.
Marina is a feature. Anyways, this is chapter 18. After her 6th marriage proposal, Eloise tells Violet how lucky and rare their relationship is. Her and Eloise and Violet. I love that. Sir Phillip is not in bed when Eloise wakes up, and she resists going to look for him, sacrificing her desire for company for his desire for solitude. She eats dinner alone, and even the footmen pity her, because it's 1 week into their marriage, and she's eating alone.
Oh, these people are fucking so weird.
It is really weird.
This is so weird. Who cares? I don't know. Whatever.
It's just this. Yeah, it's a different time. I will never be able to understand. Afterwards, she plans to go to bed, but is restless, so she wanders the halls of Romney Hall and sees a light in the portrait room, and she knows Philip is in there, and indeed he is. And he's just standing in front of Marina's portrait looking super duper sad. And this is the moment that Eloise realizes she loves Sir Phillip. She doesn't know when or how it happened, but she thinks about all the things she loves about him, including the way he loves his children. She struggles a lot as she's watching him. She's struggling a lot. You have to watch on YouTube to understand why she's laughing.
God.
She struggles a lot as she's watching him with why he's staring at Marina. What could it mean? And she feels jealous of Marina and then guilty because she's dead. Then it hits her that Philip had gone 8 years without sex, 7 or 8 years. And she loves him all the more for him not cheating on Marina when she denied him access to her bedroom.
And she wouldn't have blamed him if he did.
Yeah.
That's what she says that. She's like, I wouldn't have blamed him if he did cheat on her.
Gosh, he didn't. What a man.
Yeah, honestly.
What a man.
Such a good man.
She can't stand the mystery of Philip gazing at the portrait any longer. So she steps inside and he just reaches out a hand, which she takes. And then Eloise asks, did you love her? Do you miss her? Did you hate her? And he said no to all three. Then he tells her how melancholy Marina had been before the kids and how it got worse after. He tried everything to make her happy and nothing worked. And that is the crux of this interaction. He didn't even like Marina. He also has feelings that his kids were born with 2 bad parents. He has feelings about it. That's what I said. Eloise tried to comfort him by reassuring him that he's not a bad father. And some people are born melancholy and it's not his fault. And she tells him even as a kid, she was like that.
Mm.
Then he tells,
so she wasn't just depressed after.
It wasn't his fault, but he didn't help.
But it also just, it wasn't, we talked about this. I just edited this too. She wasn't I don't think she was in love with George.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I kind of did get that by the end.
Toward the end. Yeah.
Then he tells Eloise that he married her because she's the opposite of Marina. He confesses the truth about Marina's death and how she went into the lake on purpose. Then he gets angry and goes on a bit of a rant about what it was like to try so hard every day and to make no progress, which was that was kind of sad because it didn't feel like he tried that hard in this entire book, but I guess now we're getting that he did try hard every day.
Well, and she was depressed for like 7-8 years, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in the first like 3 or 4, like we obviously only saw that he kind of took a step away at towards the end.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of did maybe in the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't try as hard as his mind likes to say. Yeah. Because obviously
that's what the feeling, the vibe that I'm getting.
Idiot. And also his idea of trying is like way different from like the average like standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows?
And he's bitter that Marina chose the first sunny day in a fortnight, in 2 fortnights, to take her own life, and she ruined sunny days for him, and she couldn't even take her own life properly.
I'll be honest, like these are fucked up thoughts, but also I think kind of valid.
Yeah, and I understand it like for like snippets of moments because of course I've never gone through anything like this, so I can't really put myself there. But like for snippets, I'm be like, okay, I feel it.
Because I try to imagine what it would be like to kind of feel almost like an arranged marriage where you never really felt love, maybe just like some sort of mutual-ish respect, and then never being able to kind of build any kind of bond or even friendship in a relationship because the person that you're with is very, very deeply depressed. And there's nothing that you can do. You're very beyond. You're beyond frustrated.
Everything.
Yeah, absolutely nothing you can do. They don't, your partner doesn't even care to be like a parent at all, and neither do you, but also they don't. Both problems there. But also just like, I just couldn't imagine and then also the whole no sex thing for 8 years, like is kind of wild. And like, obviously the one time he tried, like it didn't
go well.
It was obviously not great. And yeah, I couldn't imagine the level of emotions that I would feel too. And then also, on the first sunny day, dude, that is actually wild.
Yeah, that is. It's just like it's akin to Kate's mom dying the way that she did.
100%.
Like what the fuck?
100%. So I kind of actually feel like some of these feelings are a little valid, but I also feel so bad. I feel so bad for Marina because obviously she didn't ask for any of these things. Like she doesn't mean to feel this way.
Yeah. She just didn't have the
resources to help her through it. Yeah. And it's so shitty.
It is.
But also he doesn't have the tools to understand or, help her either. So like
it's this battle around.
Yeah. It's a lose-lose situation.
It does suck. He expected Marina to smile at the end, finally getting what she wanted, but she didn't. Then he gets upset at Eloise for saying they had a problem in their marriage because she hasn't had the same really terrible experience that he's had. That's when it happens. Fuck you, Philip. Then he starts to cry, confesses that he loves Eloise and that he needs her to be happy and he can't fail again. She reassured him she is happy, and then they have sex. He says he used up all his willpower and won't be able to go slow. So he jackhammers her, and afterward he said, I love you, and it was all she needed. What the fuck?
Okay. Vibes.
Chapter 19.
We're going to move forward.
6 months into their correspondence, Eloise tells Sir Phillip how she's so happy and lucky. Her days and evenings are full. What more could a lady want? The next week is the best week of Eloise's life, even though there was no parties or events or gifts or visitors. It was just this new something that had happened with her and Philip's relationship. He suggests going on an outing with the kids, but doesn't know what to do because there's no events in town. There's no circus isn't in town. What are we going to do?
And he can't swim with them because he's afraid of the lake.
Yeah, he's afraid of the lake. But Eloise says literally anything will do, Philip. Like, we will do anything. It doesn't matter. They only want you. Like, it literally
You guys have a fucking picnic
matter.
in your front yard.
Like,
You
teach
could
them how to plant seeds. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you could makeshift Pall Mall. You could do fucking anything.
Literally. They decide to go shopping. Eloise is finally dress shopping with Amanda while Oliver and Philip wait. Then Eloise calls them both inside, and they have to sacrifice the fact that they don't want to go inside to make the women in their life happy. They refer to Eloise many times as mother, which I thought was just a little jarring, but I guess
I actually kind of so agree.
Yeah.
Because even if they didn't have a close relationship with Marina,
like that's their mother.
That is their mother, and maybe they don't want to call her mother. I can understand maybe them having like weird feelings as well, but also to just have this woman who's been in their life for fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks.
I don't know how long it's been. Yeah.
It's been 2.5 weeks because it was a week a week into their marriage after they had the fight, and then it's almost probably 3 weeks, closer to 3 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
And then just to be like regularly calling her mother is fucking absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah, okay, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I know that's actually batshit.
That was crazy. Okay. Philip is overcome at how Eloise convinced Oliver to be fitted by the tailor and that Oliver had asked him to come in with him. He thinks about how he's not his father. Even though he might make mistakes, he can do this father thing with Eloise at his side. He makes a fuss over Amanda's dress as instructed, and she loves it. And later that night, the kids tell Philip this was the best day of their lives, and he said it was his best day too. At supper, Eloise gets a note from Philip that leads her to another part of the house in a treasure hunt fashion, but in a more direct way. Like she didn't have to decipher any clues.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, go
boring.
to the parlor.
Yeah.
Hey, go to the library. Hey, then go to the front porch.
Rhyming clues, kind of boring. No rhyming clues. That eventually led her to the bedroom, which he had filled with hundreds of flowers and spelled out "I love you" in red petals. Then he tells Eloise that the twins had said this was the best day ever, and he agreed, but then he's like, oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. He couldn't choose any day, any hour, any moment, as long as I'm with you. With you, with you, with you. Wait, who is that? Jessica Simpson?
I'm with you.
Wait,
Real me, it's a
Ashley
southern
Simpson?
girl with the Levi's on and an open heart. No, it's Jessica Simpson.
It's Jessica. Okay.
Wish I can take the world like I'm a super girl. Oh my god, you got me in the head.
Anyways,
now.
we're getting away
I'm
from
a little
ourselves.
drunk. I'm a little drunk. Anyway.
By the way, Philip realized. But he said he couldn't choose any day, any hour, any moment. As long as I'm with you is the best day ever. Best day ever.
It's the best day ever.
Best day ever. SpongeBob.
We're like, we're in a vibe right now.
Are we done already? That's crazy. That was the end of the book. That was the.
Oh no,
it's not. We have epilogue and second epilogue.
Okay. Epilogue and seven. Wait, hold on. Epilogue and 7 up.
I came in with so much confidence at the time.
Epilogue and 7 up.
I don't think. Did you see the slow down?
Epilogue and second epilogue. I'm leaving that in. I'm leaving all that in. I'm not joking. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, epilogue. This is okay. There is so much I hope to teach you, little one. I hope that I may do so by example, but I feel the need to put the words to paper as well. It is a quirk of mine, one which I expect you will recognize and find amusing by the time you read this letter. Be strong, be diligent, be conscientious. There is never anything to be gained by taking the easy road, unless, of course, the road is an easy one to begin with. Roads sometimes are.
The fuck, Eloise?
If that should be the case, do not forge a new, more difficult one. Only martyrs go out looking for trouble. Love your siblings. You have 2 already, and God willing, there will be more. Love them well, for they are your blood. And when you are unsure or times are difficult, they will be the ones to stand by your side. Laugh. Laugh out loud, laugh often, and when circumstances call for silence, turn your laugh into a smile. Don't settle. Know what you want and reach for it. And if you don't know what you want, be patient. The answers will come to you in time, and find that your heart's desires has always been right under your nose all the while. And remember, always remember, that you have a mother and a father who love each other and love you. I feel you growing restless. Your father is making strange gasping sounds and will surely lose his temper altogether if I do not move from my escritoire to my bed. Welcome to the world, little one. We are all so delighted to make your acquaintance. And this is to Eloise, from Eloise to her first daughter, Penelope. Her first birthed daughter, her third child.
What?
Oh my God. Because technically it's her third child, Oliver, Amanda, and then
okay.
her first not adopted
biological
child.
Her
first biological child, Penelope.
Right. Okay. So their first her and Philip's first kid together. And she named her Penelope.
And she named her Penelope.
I love that. Also, it was very contradicting. She's like, take the easy road, but also fight for what you want.
But also, don't make a new road if you don't need to.
Yeah.
But also,
don't settle.
Know that the roads are roads, and there are 2 ways, and you can choose one, and a path, and walk down it. And if that's the road, then that's the road. And if you go down it, and a martyr is a martyr. And next,
you should cut that and make that the epilogue. Oh, no. But 3/4 of that made it sound like she had a terminal illness and she wasn't going to survive.
It did kind of sound like that, yeah.
Okay.
And I love how she said that you have a mother and a father who love each other. Well, and also you very much.
Yeah, just because him and Philip and Marina didn't love each other, so she had to specify.
Yeah, why is that?
To her children,
why is the shade?
Don't worry.
What is the
Amanda
shade?
and Oliver weren't so lucky, but you are.
You are, but also those are your siblings, and they are here, and you're my first daughter, and and also love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
I gotta go. Fuck your dad. Okay. Good night.
Truly. Oh,
Welcome
wow.
to the world.
Okay.
Welcome to the world, Miss Penelope Featherington.
I don't think your last name would be in it.
Welcome to the world, Miss Penelope Featherington Crane. Bridgerton.
Penelope.
Welcome to the world, Miss
Bridgerton Crane.
Welcome to the world, Miss Penelope. No last name.
To be determined.
Welcome to the world, Miss Penelope
Crane.
Posey Sophie Crane.
Lucy Crane.
Lucy Big Titties Crane. Congratulations. We're moving forward.
Jeez, oh Pete's.
Epilogue 2. All right. This epilogue is for Amanda, one of the twins. Amanda, why they chose Amanda, I will never know, but it's fine. I don't mind that it's Amanda, but we didn't get to see what happened to Oliver. It's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, that is weird.
They did this whole epilogue for Posey, and I'm just okay, not Posey, Penelope.
Well, they did a big one for Posey too.
Yeah, no, I know, but Amanda, it's fine. It's fine.
Moving on.
Okay, Amanda and her mother are at the Brogham's house with their 4 daughters, the Brogham's 4 daughters, and their mother. She's not super close to the daughters because she feels like they are fairly simple, and Amanda is far more intelligent and just intellectual, and she just kind of pretentious as well.
Rude.
Yeah, no, dead ass though. The 4 girls only really care about getting married, whereas Amanda doesn't really have that as a priority.
Oh, just like Eloise.
Yeah, she's like, I just care about riding on my horse and being in the country. Her mother, Eloise, had offered to take her to London for a season and find a husband there, but Amanda had declined.
Oh, she didn't even want to see what it was like.
However, Mrs. Brogham's nephew is coming into town, and his name is Charlie. And Eloise convinces Amanda to take him for a horseback ride to kind of show him the area, give him a little tour.
Okay.
She's not looking forward to it at all. She's like, this is going to suck. The girls, the 4 daughters are like, Charlie, it's Charlie that's coming. Oh my God, his younger brother is like way better than Charlie. Charlie.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, fuck Charlie. Yeah, they were like not super happy about it.
Rude.
The next day, he steps out of the carriage in front of their house with the 4 girls, with the daughters, the Brogham daughters. And apparently he's super hot, and that's why they decided to come. They were like talking shit on his name, and then they saw him and they were like, oh my God.
Never mind.
Take
it back.
Well, they managed to ditch the 4 daughters because Eloise had kind of distracted them, and they went out to the horse stables to go for a horseback ride. But while in the stables, they ended up hitting it off and flirting and all of the things. Mm-hmm. And it was,
like, wait a second, I do want a husband?
Wait, yeah. I think she always wanted a husband, but she just didn't take it like as a priority.
Yeah.
Kind of, just literally exactly like Eloise.
Yeah.
And after 6 months, they're married.
Great.
And also,
how old is she? Do we know? She's got to be at least 18.
She's like 18. Yeah, 18. At least 18. Okay. She has a great relationship with her dad now because her dad apparently knows how to be a father.
Yeah.
And she loves her stepmother, Eloise, who she refers to as her mother. She does talk about Marina, but not very highly. She just is like, I don't know my mother. I don't have any memories of her. She's my biological mother. She didn't say biological. She's like, she's my mother, but like, Eloise is my mother kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't have to keep talking about Marina. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's really not great. Like, she's not like, oh, fuck Marina, but she's just like, I don't know Marina. I don't care about Marina. Eloise is my mother kind of thing.
Okay. Touching.
Anyways, her marriage to Charlie is apparently amazing, and they have a very active sex life. And it's honestly super fucking weird because they like to play a little game whenever her father comes to visit their house of, how can you stay quiet? Well, basically they like,
I forgot about that.
While they like have sex. And at one point, Sir Phillip was there visiting, and they were playing this game, and she was like, I did not stay quiet. And then Phillip literally like dashed off the next day. He was like,
I gotta go.
Left.
Oh my God.
Which makes me want to, which made my skin just absolutely crawl. Cause I'm like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck is this? Why
put that in there? Why tack that on at the end of the second epilogue? Like a girl that we've known as an 8-year-old the entire book.
Oh my God. Yeah, and that's 100%. And I felt so icky too because like a lot we literally just read this entire story of her being an 8-year-old and him trying to figure out how to be a father, and now she's at this point where she's literally banging her husband, and like kind of in front, like in the next room is her dad.
Right.
Like it's just
why
so
tack
uncomfortable.
That on? That's just weird.
I hated it. I really hated it.
That was weird.
I was like, this is so fucking weird.
That is weird.
But I'm glad Amanda found love.
Yeah, good for her.
I wonder if Oliver ever did.
Me too. What's going on with him?
I don't know. We have no idea.
Maybe
be just kind of raking across the lands.
Yeah, true. Who knows what they do? Unmarried men.
Yeah. Yeah.
At one point also, Eloise was like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to be married to somebody with like an actual job. Like that's so crazy. Like that's not normal in London.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She definitely thinks that's like
rich.
The hottest thing in the world.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Is that he has this passion.
An occupation.
100%.
It was funny. All right. What was your quote of the week?
Okay. It was when Phillip said, "You are magnificent." And Eloise says, "I keep telling everyone that, but you seem to be the only one to believe me."
I love that.
I love it too.
I love Eloise. Mine was, I think Violet said it. "I always loved everything about you, of course, but for some reason, I always found your impatience especially charming. It was never because you wanted more. It was because you wanted everything." I love her.
I do too.
Violet.
Oh, Violet. Violet. I love them.
Me too. Who would you be? I had a tough time with these questions.
Yeah. No, this is not easy. Who would I be? Probably Sophie.
Okay.
married bestie that's hyping the fuck out of her friend who's trying to court her husband.
I love that. That's a good one.
I love that too. Yeah.
I picked Mary, who was like, we never even mentioned because she was such a side character. She was like the housemaid at one point.
Oh.
She was just a housemaid.
I do like her. Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember her?
Yeah, kind of. It's so funny.
It was funny. I had a hard time. I wouldn't want to be anybody. I guess, but Sophia's a good one.
That was, yeah.
She's a little far removed.
That's who I would be for sure.
That was a good one. Who would you want to be?
I think I would want to be. Oh my God, this is harder.
This is a tough one. I don't have anything written down. I'm trying to think.
Oh my God,
who would I want to be? So not Philip, not Eloise, not Oliver.
Maybe
Amanda.
Violet.
Yeah, Violet's sitting pretty.
I would hate my life.
Penelope just got married.
But Penelope's not in it that much.
Yeah, but like
if I could be a guy, maybe like Gregory, because he's young and he's a little bit like understated, but he also has his whole life ahead of him.
Yeah,
and he
hasn't done anything bad yet.
We don't. Well, maybe like Anthony or not Benedict or Sophie, because the whole kid thing would kill me.
Yeah. Kate.
Was Kate even in this?
No, she's just at home.
There's not a lot of people that I'd really genuinely want to be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We go through the characters. It's all bad.
None of them seem all that appealing.
Yeah, so I pick Kate. She's at home without Anthony. That's the best.
Maybe position. Penelope. No, because Penelope's waiting for Colin to get back. Like wondering
she's alone, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that too. Oh, I hate all of it. Yeah, I don't like any of them. That's a tough one. Violet. I'm gonna say Violet.
Violet's a good one. Favorite character in the whole book?
Oh, you know what? I feel like I say this every single time, but you know what? If they're gonna keep making her the best character, then I'm gonna keep saying she's the best character. It's fucking Violet.
Yeah, that's a good one. I picked Amanda.
I do like Amanda.
Yeah, she went through a hard
Oliver too.
Years. Yeah, both of them. But
she was the first one to kind of cave and actually decide she liked Sophie, which I liked. Not
Eloise?
Sophie, fucking Eloise.
I was like, when did she meet Sophie?
Damn it, Eloise.
No, yeah, those are both good choices though. Least favorite character?
Philip. Nurse Edwards. Nurse Edwards. I want to say Philip. I genuinely do want to say Philip, but Nurse Edwards has to take the cake. She's literally a child abuser.
Yeah, and she like was proud of it.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I picked Philip because I forgot about Edwards. Also, Philip was in it more.
Yeah, no, and I 100% see that.
They're both valid.
1,000,000,000%. Yeah.
All right, what's your star rating?
Oh, like a 1.2.
1.2.
What's the lowest we've ranked these books?
I think I said 1.
Okay, maybe like a 0.8. This is the worst one.
This is the worst one. Okay. I said 2. It would have been a 1 if it weren't for the quotes about Eloise from Anthony and Violet. But I don't really think in like point stars. So
no, and I 100% agree. And honestly, I couldn't. Okay, here's what I'll say. In terms of like, if I ranked the books in terms of like how much I actually genuinely like them so far, what I've read, this is my least favorite. Yeah, this is my least favorite for sure. And then I think right above it is Benedict's, but they're honestly very close. I would say, but I still was captivated. Like, I can't lie. Like, I definitely wanted to read about what was continuing to happen.
Yeah,
this book did also take me the longest to get into. Okay, I think. I wasn't as intrigued until I got a little bit farther in.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
I don't remember.
All right, I'm bored. And then I was like, oh, okay, I can't stop reading.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit of both.
Overall, it's trash. We hated it.
Yeah, it's definitely not good.
Yeah, it's not great. But there are some, good quotes and some good character moments. Just overall, it's just not fun, not happy, not satisfying.
Yeah. It's definitely kind of, I don't want to say a disappointment because I don't mean disappointment, but like after coming off of Colin and Penelope, which was up until this point one of my favorite.
The best,
it was kind of like
I get it. Yeah, it's just like a regression.
So bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like how the sex scenes are being like kind of elevated.
Oh, the sex scenes are 100% being elevated. Yeah,
especially into Francesca's book.
Oh my God, Francesca's sex scenes. I've already read Francesca's book. It is my favorite one.
Woohoo! I've read half and I love it so far.
And her sex
I never thought I'd say that, but I think it's the best one so far. So
her sex scenes are superior.
I'm really excited. So next week we're going to be reading her book, which is When He Was Wicked.
Yep.
And we're going to be reading through chapter 12. But that's it for this week, unless you have any final thoughts. Okay, yes, let's get rid of Philip.
Yeah, let's get rid of the fucking guy,
Fuck
man.
you, Philip.
I'm over it. I'm over him.
I was reading reviews on Goodreads about this, and one of them was like 1 star, and it said, "Fuck off, Philip. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off."
Literally.
That was the review.
I hate you forever. Literally
Fuck
never fucking, you suck. Ever,
Bye.
forever. I hate you.
By the way, you're a good father.
Oh, by the way, you suck at being a father. God, I hate him.
That's funny.
Hate him.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like us and you're still here at this point in the episode, go rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We've been getting a lot. Yes, it's been doing great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. I still want like fan art and fan fiction. Fan art, I think, would be interesting because of the time period. And fanfic, there's so many opportunities. Send it in. We want to hear it.
Yeah. I kind of want to see a picture of I was gonna say Marina, just in general, like
because I picture Marina from the show.
From the show, yeah. It is interesting, and I don't like I can picture any character the exact same as they are in the show. Like I have no problems with it, but I am just kind of curious at what the author originally thought of when she thought of each of these characters.
Yeah,
and I would like be interested to just see like the original. Descriptors like and how all these people look.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Even though I don't like, I really enjoy who they've casted and who I like.
Yeah, I
love the show Marina.
Yeah.
I love she's beautiful.
We're not gonna bash on characters from the show.
No. They're beautiful and they're incredible. It's just a curiosity thing, like the contrast between what the author had originally.
Yeah.
I get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because with Simon, in the book I pictured Timothée Chalamet for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And in the show, obviously we have a different Simon, which both are fine, but
yeah,
it was just so different.
It is interesting, the contrast. I just would be interested in kind of seeing, and even kind of what Oliver and Amanda look like based off of that, and just kind of seeing those things. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, if you have any pictures in your head.
Yeah.
Draw them and send them.
I'm curious. Yeah. Very curious, too, when it comes to what people think Michael, even obviously we got Michaela in the show, which I'm excited for. Yeah. But I am also interested to see what people thought Michael would look like.
Yeah. Do you have somebody, do you picture somebody? We can get into that next week.
Yeah. But just those sorts of contrasts.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
It is interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it.
That's all for me.
Yeah. If you have any...
if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
And we'll see you guys next week for When He Was Wicked.
When He Was Wicked.
The sex scenes elevate.
Elevate.
All right. Bye.
Bye.